So this is Chapter 6, Lesson 1 for White Math, Powers, and Exponents. So we're going to go ahead and start filling in this information. At the very top, you see where this arrow is pointing to this 2. That's our exponent. And an exponent is how many times a base is used as a factor. The arrow that's pointing to the 5 this way, that's our base. And a base is a number used as a factor. Now this arrow down here is actually pointing to the 5 and the 2, and that's powers. And those are numbers expressed using exponents. So we have a couple of examples, so let's go ahead and look at these. The first example says write 6 times 6 times 6 times 6 using an exponent. Okay. As you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sixes. So 6 is our base, and 4 is our exponent because there's 4 of them. You can see that this is just repeated multiplication. All right, so an example, write 3 times 3 times 3 using an exponent. So the factor 3 is the base. This factor is multiplied 3 times, and so the exponent is 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 can be written as 3 to the 3rd power. So down here at the bottom it says perfect squares. Numbers like 100 are perfect squares because they are squares of whole numbers. Perfect cubes are numbers with 3 identical whole number factors, such as 4 times 4 times 4 equals 64. So the number 64 is a perfect cube. So we colored the perfect squares red, and we colored the perfect cubes blue. This square right here, it's a hundreds chart. What you're actually going to be doing is you're going to color the squares red, the cubes blue, and the ones that are square and cubes, you're going to color them purple. Okay? So let's look at 1 first. So 1 times 1 is 1, that's 1 squared, and 1 times 1 times 1 is 1 cubed. So we're going to color 1 purple. So red and blue. Okay? Now if we take 2 and we square 2, we get 4. So that's going to be red. Three squared gives us 9. 4 squared gives us 16. 5 squared gives us 25. 6 squared gives us 36. 7 squared gives us 49. 8 squared gives us 64. 9 squared gives us 81. And 10 squared gives us 100. Okay, so those are all my red ones. Okay, now cube, we're going to do blue. So 1 cubed still gives us 1. 2 cubed, so that's 2 times 2 times 2, that gives us 8. 3 cubed, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 4 cubed, 4 times 4 is 16. Times 4 is 64. So this one down here is going to be purple. It's half red and half blue. Okay? And 5 cubed, 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. So that actually is off of our hundreds chart. So we're done. Okay? Now we have 2 try-it problems. So you're going to go ahead and pause the video and you're going to try out the try-it problems. Alright, now that you've tried out the try-it problems, let's go over them together. So the first one, it says write each product using an exponent. The first one I have is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. So my base is 1/2, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So it's 1/2 raised to the 5th power. Okay. For B, I have 4.3 times 4.3 times 4.3 times 4.3 times 4.3 times 4.3 times 4.3. So my base is 4.3, and it's raised to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th power. So those are my 2 answers. Second
my
page of powers and exponents. Okay. At the top it says, to write powers as products, find the blank and the blank. So the first thing you want to write is base and the exponent. Okay, so base and the exponent. So the example that we are given, write 5 squared as a product of the same factor, then find the value. So it wants us to find the product and then write it down. So 5 squared, the base is 5, the exponent is 2, so 5 squared is used as a factor 2 times. So we'd say 5 squared equals 5 times 5. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. So our example, write 2.5 cubed as a product of the same factor, then find the value. So our base is 2.5, our exponent is 3, and the value of 2.5 cubed, when we do that, is 15.625. Our last example says write 1/2 squared as a product of the same factor, then find the value. So the base for this is 1/2. My exponent is 2. And the value of 1/2 squared, which is 1/2 times 1/2, is 1/4. Remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you're just multiplying straight across. So this will be 1 times 1 gives you the 1, 2 times 2 gives you 4. So there's 3 try-it problems. I want you to go ahead and pause the video and try them out by yourself, and then when you come back, we'll work on them together. Alright, now that you've paused the video and tried the problems on your own, let's go over the answers together. So it says write each power as a product of the same factor, then find the value. So the first one I have is C is 1/5 to the 3rd power. So we're going to do my base, and I'm just going to use this as B. So my base is 1/5, and then E is going to stand for exponent. My exponent is 3. So this ends up being 1/5 times 1/5 times 1/5, which equals 1 over 125. Okay. Then for D, my base is 4.4. My exponent is 2. So this is 4.4 times 4.4, and that equals 19.36. Okay, my last one is 3/4. So my base is 3. My exponent is 4. So I get 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 gives me 9. 9 times 3 gives me 27. 27 times 3 gives me 81.